Well, good evening and welcome to any of our viewers. This is the Conservation Board of the Town of Penfield. It's our March 2nd meeting, and we're joined by members Roseanne Cohen, Bert Gordon, Jeff Bartocci, Pat Schickler, and I'm Jim Almstead. And with us we have Doug Sangster and Brad Kamath from the Town of Penfield staff. And we're being ably assisted by Penfield TV. I know we have Brian Delameter with us. So welcome to everyone. And our first order of business is approval of minutes, which I think we have from Doug and Brad. So let's start there. Can you put those up, Doug?
Yeah, we'll get those up for you guys.
Okay. These would be the minutes of our February 2nd meeting.
All right, Jim,
I
are you
did not
guys?
have any issues.
Looks good to me.
Okay, no one found anything that needed changing? So I sent you all an email requesting that for the future, instead of just publishing the report that was submitted to that meeting, that we actually incorporate the agreed upon changes to that report and attach that report to future minutes of our meetings. So let's make that an ongoing method of operation, if you will.
That was a mistake on our part. We just accidentally attached the wrong minute or the wrong report to the minutes.
But let me say what I was trying to say maybe more clearly. When we do find additions, corrections, changes that we'd like to make to the report, what I'd like to make sure we do is actually capture those and make that change when we publish that report in the minutes of our meeting. So did I make that clear this time?
Yes.
So I think so. The published report reflects any agreements to changes that we made during the course of the meeting. So it's not something that needs to be, it's the final product.
Yeah, so what we have right now is we have incorporated our discussion and agreed upon changes in the minutes, but the attached report remained unchanged. So, so in the future, we'll go ahead and incorporate those changes in the report and publish the corrected, amended report with the minutes. Everybody with me now?
Yep.
Somehow on my screen, I appear twice and I don't see our town staff.
You're twice as important, Jim.
Ah, well, that must be the explanation. Something you guys can.
Because I think you're what's going out on the video.
Yeah, so you're seeing yourself in a playback, and you're seeing yourself as it's being broadcast out on our public access channel and on Facebook and all of our other streaming channels.
So that's what everybody else sees, not the rest of us.
Yes.
Just a minute. Rick, give her that bowl to lick, please. Rick, can you give me a bowl?
Can you do it real quick? So, there, now, what's happening there is I see myself as one of 5, and then I see myself in smaller view as one of 5, but I still don't see the town staff. Is there a way we can fix that, or?
Jim, if you would like that, we will fix that for you. 1 second for it.
Okay. Ah. So we're getting a good view of the recycled trash can and not to be recycled trash.
There we go.
I know that person. Hello, Doug.
Hello. Yeah, we have a series of cameras up here, and I'm sure they're focusing on getting the one camera.
Like the
that can try to
movie
capture.
stars, you have to know which camera to face for the best shot.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, so anyway, we've, I think, approved the minutes. If I heard everyone correctly, I heard no disagreement. Okay, so we'll go on. And I thought I had my papers so nicely arranged. There we go. Let's see. Well, okay. I guess we'll start right out with our report for 1410 Penfield Center Road. Bert and I took a look at that property, and can you put up our report, Doug or Brad?
It's on its way.
Okay.
You should be able to see it.
Not yet.
No, we see a sweeping view of the two of you.
Ah, it looks like we're making progress. So, let's see, is this going to be big enough that we can see it? I think so. Okay, so,
Do it a little bit so it's almost page width is the full width of the screen. That way it makes it a little bit easier to
I'm hearing,
just widen it out.
okay, I guess that's what, okay. All right,
Yeah,
so 1410 Penfield Center Road. This is a 20-acre parcel roughly, and that 20-acre parcel is to be subdivided into 3, so allowing for a couple of new homes to be built. And the lot 1 with the existing home will end up being about 15.6 acres. Very deep lot, 1,350 feet more or less. And basically it's an open field for the most part, requiring some clearing, but minimal clearing. And with lot 1 retaining 15.6 acres, lots 2 and 3 will be where new homes will be built. Apparently the intent is this year. And lot 2 will be just over 2 acres in size, and this is an RA2 district, so it meets that requirement. We'll have a depth of about 358 feet, with lot 3 being a flag lot design. And that flag lot design, 2.4 acres in size, but a very deep lot, a depth of about 598 feet. Could we take a look at the overall plan at this point, Doug, or?
Yep.
Okay. overall plan coming up. Okay, so on this plan that you're looking at, north is to your right. So lot one, can you kind of outline lot one for us, Doug? Yeah, okay. Lot one will be an irregular shape. And then lot two, if you'd outline that for us. And then lot three, which is the flag lot. Okay, so at this point, take note of the fact that the neighbor to the west, and why don't you outline the neighbor to the west, Doug? The neighbor to the west has a drainage channel that drains into lot one and then runs along the north boundary of what will be lot three. And then that drainage proceeds off to the northeast. So there is a comment on the McMahon-LaRue sheet, those are the engineers, saying that there is a federal wetlands near the drainage channel on the easterly edge of lot one. So I'm assuming it's more or less to the northeast corner of lot one, but I don't have a separate map for those federal wetlands. There are no state wetlands, just the federal. And so they do indicate that that might require examination by a qualified wetland biologist. Again, I don't know exactly the outline of the federal wetlands, so I'm thinking they may be in the northeast corner of lot one, and so it may not be an issue for lot two, but the drainage channel does run alongside that north boundary of, of lot three. North boundary of lot three. So I'd like to move to one of the other plans, if you would, Doug, or you can go, maybe the aerial map would be a good time to show the aerial. Yeah. Let's do that. Yeah, so, and now, this time, we've got north in the usual location. North is to the top of the page. And you can see the drainage channel. And again, looks like it's coming from basically a pond from the neighbor to the west. Again, it was a very snowy day when we took a look at the property, and we couldn't really, the snow was really quite deep, so couldn't really hike back in there, but we could do the best we could observing from the road. So if we can go to one of the other plans, Doug, there are two other plans. More detailed, yeah, there we go, okay. So this, this is an expanded view of what's happening on lots 1 and 2. And Doug, if you could show the remnants of a foundation on lot 1 that spill over slightly into lot 2. Yeah, okay, can you just, yeah. There's the foundation remnants. They do ever so slightly encroach on lot 2. And do we have the picture of those foundation remnants that I sent you guys?
Yep.
Okay, so let's just take a peek at that.
Sorry, that's the wrong.
It was something I sent to you a day ago. Okay, so this is as seen from the road. So these foundation remnants are significant. I mean, they're not just, it's not like down at ground level. It's a pretty significant foundation remnant. And I think it seems to me reasonable to have them remove not only what would encroach on lot 2, but also to follow the code for side setback, meaning quite a lot of that foundation remnant would have to be taken down. Perhaps it would be best to take it down entirely.
Jim, they are noted on the subdivision plat to be removed.
Okay, well, that's good. I think, for some reason, I didn't spot that, but,
I believe we requested that they also add that note on the site plan and any
Okay.
future submissions, but I believe it's on the subdivision plat.
yeah,
the first
that
page.
certainly makes sense. So that was basically the only significant concern we had, because this, as I said earlier, this is basically open field. It's interesting that lot 3 is as deep as it is. I think you mentioned that the fire marshal may want to have some consideration about that, Doug. So I think we can take the picture down at this point.
Yeah, regarding the discussion with the fire marshal, I've not talked with the fire marshal recently, but fire code does require that a home that is greater than a certain distance from a fire hydrant to either be sprinklered or to be serviced by a private hydrant. At this point, I don't know what they're going to propose. That is a discussion that they'll have to have with the fire marshal.
Yeah, so, but in any case, it wasn't a concern of ours for conservation purposes. And so our really only concern was the foundation remnants. So I'm glad to hear they plan to take that down. Bert, would you like to add some comments to that?
No, you pretty much covered it.
And any questions from any other board members? So in that case, if there are no comments for revision, we'll say that report will stand as written and be included then in the minutes. When we have our next meeting, we'll have those minutes. So at that point, keep shuffling papers here. And I keep losing my place on the agenda, so.
The board report for 1820 and 1810.
Okay.
Somebody's got to come off mute.
Yeah,
I'm not hearing anything.
well, yeah.
Sorry, my dog was barking earlier and I didn't want to have everybody hear all the barking and the yelling going on for said dog to shut up, so I put myself on mute. Okay, Jeff and I, oh, I see a typo in there with an extra space. Anyways, Jeff and I went out and we could not carry Paul along because we didn't have, he was looking for Apple and I had Android, so it didn't work out for the program. Anyway, so Jeff and I went out and we did walk somewhat onto the property in front of the existing buildings. There's it comprises a couple properties, basically 1820 and then just a portion of 1810 who's owned by somebody else, so that they have a letter of understanding from the owner. They have that letter from Sebastian Fratello. It's noted in the supporting documents. So they're requesting a subdivision of that property, the part that's going to be part of this Excelsior Penfield Apartments. And they're also just looking for a sketch plan review and approval. So there wasn't a lot of finished off drawings included. So let's see, can we show the, can we show one of the maps, Doug,
Yep.
that shows the existing buildings and what's going to be split up there? Jeff, did you want to add anything at this point? We're not that far into it.
No, not yet. I just want to see, when we get to it, I want to see the map with the water flow and if there's any wetlands or water
Yeah.
issues.
What's interesting, the site is zoned MUD, Mixed Use Development Zone A. I had not seen it before. This is the one with the proposed buildings. I was looking for, thank you for what's already there. It's jumping around. That also is showing the proposal. I was wanting to see the part that has the existing buildings. Okay, there we go. So 1820 there currently has, there we go, 1820 has a house, barn, a garage, some other outbuildings, which will all be demolished. And this is the rest consists of basically just some land with, just grasses on it. The only plantings are right around the property. There are 2 trees to the back of the barn. However, they look to be on their way out. There's bigger, one had limbs down, other had a huge hole to the inside of the trunk. So there were some nice pines between the garage and one of the outbuildings, which, by the way, there's decline here, right, or not a drop off, but it goes down about 15 feet, I believe, right in back of these buildings. And the trees are growing up from that lower part. So I'm assuming that they will be gone in the process, not able to be avoided. And, but when we put back the other, the rendering of the proposals, we'll see that there are a lot of trees that will be planted. And Doug, can you point out what part of this project is, can you sort of circle what's coming from 1810?
Yeah. Let me zoom in a little bit for you. 1810 would be everything to the right of this line, so this portion.
Okay. So we noted that and actually leave these buildings up, and from talking with Doug, so there is quite a slope down, but in talking with Doug, the buildings to the front, which you can't see from this drawing, but some of the other renderings that they provided, will be 2 stories. And the buildings towards the bottom of the slope will be 3 stories. So when you see this from the road, it won't look as imposing as far as, this huge 3-story building looming off of the road there. And it seems that they're going to try to work with the grade to be using the flat land to the top with these, I want to point, but you won't be able to see my finger. Doug, can you point out the 2 buildings to the front of Route 250? That'll be the 2 stories. Okay. And then the one to the back will be the 3-story. And they have plans for some kind of business and a common area. See the other part, so then we went down 250 and turned onto, what was that road? Turned right. What's that?
And, it's the next road up, it's,
Go up a little bit.
Sweets Corners.
Sweets Corners, thanks Roseanne, that's your neighborhood.
Yeah.
Right? So we went down Sweets Corners to be able to see the rest of the property of the 1810 that's not going to be used, because there is a stream and wetlands that are to the eastern portion of the property. The building will be nowhere along that, but we were wondering if this is the question you had, where that lets out.
yeah, so actually it looks like it's going all the way along the back path, but I thought one of the drawings we had, it went in toward the, it would have, but that water was going in toward the
House.
project. So where is,
We could not see that, so that's what we wanted to ask you.
yeah, we want to know where this water, there is water going along the back parallel to the buildings in the back. And then it's, looked like it came and it came down and went into somewheres around the house. Where do we have?
So we're asking if it does actually do that.
Yeah, we're trying to figure out where this water ends up.
I believe it drains sort of northeast of here. I believe it's considered just a farm tributary off of the Commission ditch.
Okay, so it runs around that back corner,
Yeah, so it runs up north
there,
of.
but doesn't go into the project at all.
I don't believe so. Brad's gonna be pulling up our GIS map here with our stream layer, and you can sort of see where.
Yeah, see, we did not, I don't believe that we received a GIS map in the packet. There was an aerial map. It's not the same thing, correct?
The aerial map is just an aerial overlay with parcels.
Right, yeah, we didn't, there wasn't a GIS, so we.
But I do believe this runs sort of northeast, and it's a tributary. It may be piped throughout the neighborhood.
Yeah, there it is.
Okay,
Okay.
all right, now we can see it. All right. The other thing is, since this was preliminary, what was not shown is what the grade would be. So we could only see that, yes, it does go down 15 feet, but we did not see exactly what changes they will be making. But as you explained, it's just preliminary at this point. You can go back to show the new buildings again. There was one section that does show steps, one of the renderings. I don't think we can see it on this one, but.
You may have to go to the schematics of the plan.
Yeah, it was probably, I see them. There's different areas that were showing some steps. So it sort of leads you to believe that they are keeping some of the topography, but this was all that they had, so there was nothing as far as what the proposed grades would be. But
These gonna be apartments up here?
let's see, they are planning on
Buildings
residential
A and B
units,
are,
commercial, retail, and office space, townhouse buildings and apartments, for a total of 132 units.
Wow.
so A and B are gonna be townhouses. C, D, and E are residential, and D is gonna be commercial as well,
Yep.
or
And then-
retail,
yeah,
and then there's a retail building up here.
It looks like down on from our thing, down on the bottom right corner, they're having a common house,
Yep.
and a pool,
Yep,
fire pit. So in terms of conservation, as I said, there were really only a few pines there that, from the way it looks, they would probably end up owing. But once they submit their final plans, like it looks like they have all sorts of plans for tree plantings, but we don't know anything about types of trees or how mature they'll be.
Yeah, that is something that we usually require as part of a preliminary final application, would be a landscaping plan that will have callouts of specific, landscaping and botanical features. So that'll be coming as, if they are invited to resubmit an application, post this sketch plan for preliminary final, it would be something they submit with that application.
And so the road would have to slope, but again, without having all the exact schematics, we don't know how that will be, but we couldn't see anything with what we had presented so far.
We didn't have any issues with anything. It's really flat and there's not much there.
Yeah, and it's actually way far away from any the water issues, so.
Yeah, we got the water issue addressed and it's not even an issue.
Questions, comments?
Okay, any comments by other board members? All right, so,
Could you fix that one space? I think it's at, let's see, under observations, 1, 2, 3, 4, fifth bullet, there's an extra space in there between 1820. 1820 includes, it was bothering me.
Yeah, we'll take care of
Check
it.
out. Thank you.
okay, so if there are no observations requiring a modification to the report, other than the one Pat just referenced, we'll say that that report is approved and will be included then in the minutes of our meeting. So moving on, we deferred our discussion for 1350 Jackson Road, 1357 Jackson Road. I think we deferred that to this meeting. So tell us what's happening there, Doug.
So they have submitted a sketch plan application, so it is a concept level review. The property was originally approved for 6 lots back in, I believe it was 2006, as a Town Law 278 subdivision. In that proposal with the 6 lots, they had generally 2 substandard lots and 4 greater than what was required by code. They've come back for a sketch plan, this time showing 4 lots, also doing a 278 cluster. The intention is that the 3 lots in the back will be greater than is required by code. In this case, it's a 1 acre zoning district. Those 3 lots will all be greater than 1 acre. But the lot at the very front, along Jackson Road, they are proposing, it'll be greater than half an acre, but it'll look in keeping and in kind with the homes that are already exist on Jackson Road that are generally pre-existing non-conforming half-acre lots from the time when the town was zoned wholly half-acre in the 60s. So they are coming to us just as a sketch plan right now, so it is a concept level review. They're looking to establish the 278 cluster as part of this, and then they'll resubmit for preliminary final should the planning board look favorably on this.
When will the planning board be meeting on this?
On this application, they'll be meeting on March 11th.
Okay, I guess when we agreed to
I believe it's March 11th, yes.
defer the discussion on this, I thought that they weren't going to be meeting until April.
What was the submission date on that? I believe this one is...
Plans came in January 29th.
Yeah, because we didn't need to actually go out and,
the other reason, and I'll have to go back and look up why we deferred it, is like this is a sketch plan, so there's going to be no approvals garnered as part of it. So I believe the discussion was that it was going to be, it'd be more fruitful to review it when it's preliminary final, and you'll be able to see a little bit more detail, and when it'll actually be before the board for approvals, as opposed to this, they'll just be getting a sketch letter from the planning board and an invitation to resubmit for preliminary final in the future. Because this is essentially a concept level application.
Yeah, I guess right off the top, I don't see any great issues with this, since lot one is, as you say, consistent with the neighborhood. So what are we thinking in terms of preliminary final application? When are we likely to see that?
I would expect May at the earliest.
Okay, so again, if we don't have a more detailed application in front of us at this time, I think I'm hearing you say that we can defer action on this until our next meeting.
Yes, if you guys would like, yeah, that is certainly.
If I might propose, I think, Jim, it's even defer it. They've shown us somewhat the site plan.
Yeah.
When Doug just talked about it, I just say defer it until it's ready to come, until they have the prelim final, and then, assign it to us ahead of when the planning board is to address that, whether that's April, whether it's May, whether it's June. That's my opinion, is just defer it. And, if for some reason it comes that Doug, they get the planning board gets the prelim final kind of in between our meetings, again, we'll just kind of contact you, get it assigned, and do it.
Yeah, I think you just said more clearly what I was trying to say, so
Yeah.
thank you, Bert. That's exactly my thinking.
Good. Good.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, so that's on hold for now, and then we have a couple other things we were going to talk about today. What is this 1030 Plank Road?
It is
And
a,
before we get into that, there's something that I neglected to say about our report. Even though Paul wasn't able to be with us via camera to see the property, he's very familiar with it, and he reviewed the write-up as well to say that, it covered everything.
Yeah, thanks for adding that. So we're looking at 1030 Plank Road. Can you orient us here? Where are we?
1030 Plank Road is on the north side of Plank, I'd say about 800 to 1,000 feet east of the intersection of Plank Road and Shoecraft. It's just west of Chute Farms, or Chute's Apple Cider Mill.
Okay, so it is just west of Schutz and on the north side of Plank. Okay.
If you want each of them on the aerial, so.
And do we have an application for preliminary final here?
This is also a sketch plan application.
Sketch plan.
They're coming in for concept. They want to make sure that the lot layout and configuration works prior to making a preliminary final application before the board.
So Jim, you're looking at this lot right here, if you can see my screen.
All right.
Shoecraft, Plank, and that's
How far
Schutz's.
down is Shoots?
That's Chute's right
Oh,
there.
wait,
This,
It's just
this
a
is
little-
Schutz right here.
That's it? Okay.
Yep.
So it looks pretty heavily treed. We're looking at 10.
Do they want to build there?
Yeah, what is it we're doing?
What are
They're
they trying to put
they're
in?
looking to do 4, so it'll be a 5-lot subdivision, 4 new homes, and 5 homes including the existing that's there. So it would be putting.
Which one is the existing of this?
It'll be lot 1 in the plan.
Is the existing, okay.
Yeah.
Yep. So
Oh, there it is. Okay, all I can
So-
see were trees.
Yep, so there'll be 2 frontage lots on either side of it, and then 2 additional lots in the rear, and then the existing house will remain a frontage lot. So there'll essentially be 3 lots along Plank Road and 2 lots on a private drive in the rear, or to the rear.
So they'll the two new on Plank will have driveways onto Plank.
Yes, that
Yes.
is correct.
Okay.
Okay,
And there will
well,
be a third drive to accommodate the private drive. Okay.
it looks like we're gonna have some concern for perhaps some of the trees. That it looks like a pretty heavily treed lot, so obviously we're gonna want the preliminary final to identify the more significant trees, both by type and caliper, and address what they plan to do about trying to save some of the more desirable ones.
Okay.
When do you expect us to see the preliminary final application?
Again, this pending the outcome of the planning board. This application will be heard in April. So my guess would be the earliest would be June or July.
Oh, wait, all right.
Jim, if I might, I mean, unlike the other one, I think this is a sketch plan, especially if we've got some time. I think this is a sketch plan. A couple of us ought to take a look at this.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that.
You know, I mean, Pat and Jeff, you know, what they just looked at was a sketch plan. So.
Yes, it was, that's true.
Yes, it was a sketch plan.
You know, I don't have a problem with not doing the Jackson Road one, and I think for Doug's benefit, you know, for the planning board's benefit going into PRC, you know, the conservation board at first blush doesn't have any additional comments. We'll kind of see what we want to take a look at prelim final. Because some of that, I know, you know, pictures are worth 1,000 words, but sometimes those pictures are misleading. Before, I guess we ought to take a look at just what is that lot look like? What do those trees really look like? Because if they're all scrub secondary stuff, you know, 10 feet, 12 feet tall, 5 inches in diameter, because that's a lot of old farm field out that way and stuff. So bottom line, my recommendation would be to take a look at it. And I think we could do that for the April meeting. Because do we have anything else on the April meeting agenda? Doug, do we have any other projects that are going to need to be looked at?
The planning board received 5 applications for April, and staff has received 1 administrative application for April,
Holy crap.
or 1 administrative application. Yeah, April will be a busy month for the planning board.
So
Those
you're-
are the ones that we need to review too?
We can go through them with you guys, and you guys can make the determination whether they're applications you believe are warrant review.
Well, for right this minute, I agree with Bert that, and I agree largely because of all those trees, that I think it is worth taking a look at this sketch plan. And since Daniel and Noel aren't with us tonight, I nominate them. Do I have a second?
Well,
I second.
Again, I guess, Jim, if I might, you know, I know a little tongue in cheek with that, but let's see let's let Doug get
Yeah.
through what else we've got to get assigned, and then kind of make a determination there, because.
Because you could always assign this one we don't have to, there's such a thing as doing it now versus waiting till June or July, but it could be, you know,
Well,
1 month.
I guess, in my mind, this is not an in-depth, this is just, you know, 1 or 2 of us just go, do it.
Sure.
Stop on Plank, get out of the car, take a look because it is just a sketch plan. So I don't see this being much of a big activity outside of, I guess I'd be more comfortable in just offering some guidance and concepts to the planning board for when the developer comes in for sketch plan review, if we've kind of taken a look at it versus just an aerial view
Oh,
photo.
no, I agree to that, but depending on how, like you just said, depending how much else there is, maybe
Yeah,
we can do that for May instead of for the April meeting.
Well, they're gonna take a look at it in April. The sketch plan, the
Oh,
planning will look at
okay.
it.
Okay,
Okay, so we'll hold off on assigning that sketch plan until later this evening. And we'll ask Doug to show us what else he has coming up.
All right, Brad, you just want to run through starting with Pathstone?
Yeah.
You know, in fact, what I'll do right now, before you even get to the other stuff, Jim, and because I know you're not gonna be at the meeting, unless something else, I'm more than happy if Doug will email me that sketch and, you know, the sketch plan and the aerial. I can do a quick drive-by, you know, over the next week or so. Again, I'm only working part-time now, and something I can do quick on the way home from work or whatever. But I'm offering to kind of take that one unless somebody else has a burning desire to jump in, and then that we don't need to coordinate visits, but anyway, let's hold, we'll keep that in mind then, and let's go through what else he's got.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, 1801 Fairport 9 Mile Point Road. This is the Pathstone project. This is right next to Penfield Square, pretty much across from the 1820, 1810 property that we just looked at.
When you say Pathstone, have we been using that name right along?
So the applicant has been in discussion with staff. They've come to several of our PRC meetings to discuss it with us. It will be what was formerly Grossman's Nursery, as well as a portion of Wickham's property. It is another mixed-use development within our mixed-use district. So they are looking to do, this is through Pathstone. They are a local, I believe, a local nonprofit. So they'll be looking to do a mixed income, mixed use development that'll incorporate a daycare facility as well as additional commercial space in addition to apartments. Unlike Penfield Square, which is senior oriented and has a senior health component both with their memory care and their assisted living, this will be aimed more at families. So this is also a sketch plan, so they are coming in at this point for concept level review before the planning board. They will not gain any approvals through the planning board at this meeting or through this meeting or this process. They'll just be doing a concept level and then they'll come back for preliminary final at some point in the future.
Can you pull back a little so we can see how close this is to the other projects in the area?
If you pull up, say, a rendering that
It's right next door to it, right?
It is just to the
well,
north.
it's gonna be across the road anyway.
Yeah, it's across the road from the one we just talked about. This is behind that other new project that's just gonna open.
Yeah, it's next in line, right? You're talking that it's Grossman's and Wickham.
pull up one of the
Right.
They've got
Okay,
a 3D. There we go.
Oops.
So you can point out the YMCA.
So this is the Y, this is Penfield Square, and then this is the new project that we're
All right.
reviewing now.
that's what I wanted to see.
And where is our barn
Across-
and buildings and out, is that it? Okay.
Yep.
Across the street.
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah, I knew it was across the street, right across the street, okay.
In my mind now, unlike the previous one, I guess personally, I wouldn't see any issue with having to see a sketch plan of this. And wait until final. Again, we knew this was all coming. That's just all open field where Grossman
Field, yeah.
and Wickham, you know,
Yeah,
this is just another piece to it. So I guess my opinion is, I don't know, is since it's just a sketch plan, this one we could probably hold until prelim final unless somebody else has a strong inclination. But that whole,
I
Yeah, I'm
would agree,
sorry.
it's all fields.
yeah, it's just open strip of land.
are there any streams or anything at all in here?
No.
Okay.
The
Well, that
western,
Grossman's is still there. I mean, the building,
Yeah, they tear it all
so they
down.
just have to tear it all down.
So the westernmost portion of this property does back up to some wetlands that flow between, and the stream that flows between, the YMCA and 250 there, and Penfield Country Club to the west.
Right.
And they'll have to be undisturbed, right?
Yeah, they'll be undisturbed.
Yeah,
they're
they'll
generally,
have to address that in prelim final.
that is correct.
I think the discussion to me is this a sketch plan that the board feels they want to take a look at? The one before, I think we all agreed we do. This one, personally, I don't think there's much of an issue to seeing.
I agree with Bert.
Yeah, you don't
Wait.
see,
Wait for prelim and final. All right, next.
yeah, there's just a bunch of trees there on the border. It's, looks like.
So just outline the 1801 for us, would you, Doug?
So this project will encompass portions of 1801 and 1787.
Yeah, that was my question, yes, thank you.
Yep.
So this project will include some 1787?
It'll include pretty much the section of 1787 that is behind or sort of west of 1801. So it will include the house that is there.
Oh, it will, okay.
So go back to this map
So
right
it
here.
will include that house that's in back of the 1801?
That is correct.
Yes,
What
so-
house is that? It looks like a big house.
So many longtime residents will know, Larry and Francis Grossman built the house behind their business there. They have since moved on, and it is currently owned by the Wickhams.
It
So if you
basically
were to-
is everything below the line that I just drew.
Okay,
Okay, all the way back to the,
property line at 1835?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that is correct, yeah.
Yeah.
There are some wetlands that do border along that 1835B. That is a portion of the YMCA property that does go back and behind there. But there are some wetlands around that area, so they won't be developing up to the westernmost property line.
okay, so now if you put the sketch plan back up. Yeah.
So my point is, there's a number of trees that would be taken down, existing around that home, and also on the border between the Y and this property, or the Penfield Square rather, and the property.
And it looks like all those trees that are around the existing home will be sacrificed for this project, but
Yeah.
I don't think there's gonna be anything that can be done about that.
Oh, on this sketch plan, it looks like there's gonna be a lot of trees put in. It's gonna be the same as the one Jeff and I just looked at, the question of what is it they're putting in and how big.
Yeah, which we'll address in prelim and final.
Absolutely.
What's the earliest date when they plan to bring in the heavy equipment, Doug?
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what, I believe they're under contract on both properties. I don't know if they've purchased both. Realistically, if they wanted to get a demo permit, at this point, they could get a demo permit to take the structures down. But in terms of like actual physical construction I don't know. Unfortunately, it'll have to go through the process, both as a sketch and a preliminary final before the planning board, and I don't have I don't know how long that will take.
Okay, back to the previous slide then. Yeah, now those trees at the back of the lot line, certainly if those are desirable trees, and they look like they could be, those could be an issue with respect to bringing in heavy equipment, so I guess I hate it when we get surprised by, gosh, we brought in the heavy equipment before you guys really took a good look. And, you know, really important, beautiful trees were sacrificed that didn't really have to be sacrificed. So the trees that I see that I would be concerned about are way off to the left at the back of this property. And I don't think we're gonna be able to do a darn thing about the trees that are near the house, but the trees at the back lot line, I think we ought to make sure the heavy equipment isn't in there before we know that it's coming.
Okay. I don't believe they're proposing to utilize any of that area back there because it is, and I'm having Brad bring it up right now on the screen, is wetlands. So that thin light blue line hashed is the buffer for state wetlands. That is a no-build zone, so it is unlikely that they'll go, or that they'll get a permit, or that they'll want to really clear in that area. I believe they are looking to preserve that edge buffer to the neighbors
Now
to the west.
That dark blue line, what is that?
It's a 100-foot buffer.
Ah, so they can't be excavating to the left of the dark blue line?
That is correct.
Well, that's nice.
I mean, they would have to go through the New York State DEC to get a permit to do any work in that area, and it is a difficult and long process to get a permit to do that, and it's unlikely that they'll go that route. Because they're not proposing. They're not proposing.
Having said that, the dark spot in the northwest corner of what we're looking at here, you want to just circle that so we know what we're talking about, Doug? Yeah, right there. If that happened to be a highly desirable tree, heavy equipment moving right up to the dark blue line could damage that tree. So I'm just saying, we constantly get surprised by what these guys do when they bring in the heavy equipment, and I'd like to avoid that surprise. So could we at least have somebody look at that tree? Could we get the town tree person to identify whether that's a highly desirable tree of significant caliber, and if so, I'd want a fence around that tree that would protect the roots, and that means everything below the canopy.
We can take a look at, I mean, when this comes back preliminary final, we will be sending this to our landscaping consultant. In addition, we can take a look at seeing and discussing with the applicant that they provide us with some information on that tree and whether they believe they'd be getting near it, and if so, what tree protections we could have put in place as part of that plan.
Okay. Any other comments by the board? We'll hold that for preliminary final and probably be taking more points of discussion next month and very likely the month after before we actually assign the project. Does that sound right to everybody?
Yes.
Okay, what else have you got, Doug?
Okay, next one is 2070 Empire Boulevard. That is the north town line of Penfield, just south of the Dunkin' Donuts on Empire.
It's a former Tom Walls property.
Oh,
Tom Walls.
Dunkin' Donuts?
So there's
Fire?
Yeah,
so
I
the
know
Dunkin' Donuts and Empires is the first property in Webster. Just south of that is a vacant lot right now. The building that was there was demolished a few years ago. For those of us who've been in town for a little while, it was formerly a couple of different restaurants. For most of my childhood, it was Tom Wall's.
Yeah.
Okay, I remember that, I guess I know
And-
that one now.
Before that, it was that pancake house, with the,
Yeah. No, you're right, Jim. Yeah, I know where that is now. Yeah. Okay, so what's the project they want to do?
It's going to be a medical building.
Another medical building.
Right on top, right on top of the existing area?
Yes, they're
Yep.
looking that the new building footprint would be mostly within the existing building footprint.
So they're really not gonna be doing anything that's not already been done.
I don't believe so. They're going to look at reusing as much of the pavement. I mean, they're going to mill it and repave a bit, but they're looking to stay mostly within the existing bounds.
So we could actually say that anything we need to say right now, based on what I've seen, there's really nothing to say or nothing to look at that we haven't already just seen.
Yeah. I guess the only, I tend to agree with you, Jeff. I think the only thing I'm wondering, Doug, and you can help us how you handle this, right? So, old-time, long-established businesses like this, bottom line, green space. How much green space is there? Because don't you have to have 35%? Or are you gonna do it as a?
I believe they're going to come in.
Grandfather in.
I believe they're going to come in for a variance.
Okay, all right, yeah, so, right, so that was just the process was as much as what I'm asking for, so you aren't gonna drive them, and the town tends to accept those, right? Because, it's tough to say, cut your parking lot in half and grow lawn, because it's kind of an existing non-conforming.
It would be up to the zoning board, ultimately, whether they're comfortable with the lot coverage where it is.
Yeah, but quite frankly, this is just
Yeah,
one
but yeah,
commercial property.
And if
it
they were to
is.
refuse it, it could be that it makes it not profitable and say, okay, well, you can keep an empty building then.
I believe if the zoning board were to look at it that way, they may just the applicant would likely just come back in with a reduced parking number. At that point, they may be looking for variances for parking requirement.
Right.
just to be clear, there is no building there now, right?
There is no building there now. No, the
Oh,
building.
that's right, sorry.
The
vacant lot,
owner,
not
it is owned by the
vacant lot.
DeMarco Group, the same owner of Baytown Plaza. They originally, a number of years ago, when Tom Walls left, they marketed it largely to try to find another restaurant to take its place, because that's what the original building was utilized for and really set up for. Then a number of years ago, they demolished the building, hoping to make the site a bit more marketable as a blank slate over a restaurant reuse or redevelopment, restaurant redevelopment. So there is no property there, or there is no building there now. It is just the remnants of the slab, as well as the parking lot. The parking lot still exists, but it is not in good condition. It is deteriorated a bit.
So they're proposing, looks like, to use the original footprint. They're going right up almost back to the border in the back, and then it slants off at an angle.
Yeah,
So it looks like they're using the exact same footprint almost.
pretty much. I mean, even the parking lot, they're just going to be they're going to be milling it, not going all the way down, but they'll be milling the top and repaving it, essentially reusing or staying within mostly the same footprint that the parking that's already there within that footprint. The building will be a little bit smaller than the building that was originally there. The restaurant was a little bit larger. But they will be locating it within the existing pad area of where the previous building was.
And is this just a sketch plan at this point?
This one is coming in for preliminary final.
Okay. And that will result in a planning board meeting on this project when?
It is April
11th,
8th.
8th?
I believe, yeah, hold on, I gotta check my calendar.
Eighth.
I believe it's the 8th is the, yes, April 8th.
So that, I mean, we have a meeting on April 6th, so, we're gonna
I
wanna
think,
have.
weren't we just saying that what is there really to say about it from a conservation standpoint? Unless there's any opportunities for plantings in the, surround of the building or the parking lot?
I believe that they'll be doing some plantings and surrounding the building to beautify the building a little bit. There is a drainage channel that does sort of run around the property. They did allow us to go in there, I believe it was a year or two ago. We did clean that drainage ditch that just sort of runs around there and through the Daniels Creek apartments.
So it does look like they're putting some landscaping in.
Yep.
Additionally, I believe they'll be doing some grass areas to the north of the building.
It shows lawn, yeah. Well, does everyone feel that we really don't need to take a look at this?
I don't think we need to.
I don't see, I mean, we could write something up right now without actually even visiting the site to just, take advantage of plantings, so that would be about it, me.
Well, quite honestly, you know, as it sits right now, as an old, used site, it's not exactly a thing of beauty, and this will
Well, that's why I
obviously.
say, well, even though it's not a building, okay, so now you've got a vacant lot, like you say,
Yeah.
that's, got a deteriorating parking lot, and,
So this will be an improvement no matter what they do.
Right.
Well, I think we can simply say that, we see no objections to their proposal.
I would agree.
I agree.
yeah.
Okay, so let's
Same
just
here.
let the minutes reflect that we have no objections to this proposal. You got anything else, Doug?
Yeah. You just keep going down the line.
Doug?
Yep.
Yep. Brad will
Do
be
you
bringing
have
that up
anything
here.
else?
Yes,
Yep, pulling
Brad
it
is-
up.
Brad is bringing
Okay.
up the next one. So this one is 1915 Harris Road. It is an admin application. It is the admin application. It is just a single-family residence on an existing lot.
What was the address again?
1915 Harris Road.
Can you zoom out so we see where this is really?
I'm sorry, Doug, what did you say they're looking to do?
Single-family residence on an existing lot.
There's nothing there now?
No, it is currently a vacant lot.
Where is this near?
I believe it's between Sweets Corners and Penfield Road,
Yep.
about halfway in between on Harris.
Addresses were just there, what happened to them?
So it's just
they're
north
there.
of Center Court Lane. If you've driven down Harris Road, it's just north of Center Court Lane.
So this is a flag lot.
Yes.
Yes, so this lot was created.
It looks like there's existing driveway.
Yes, this lot was created a few years ago as a subdivision of 1921. It is the house sort of to the south there. They split it off into 3 lots. There was 1921 that was got site plan approval. They built a house. 1917 and 1915 were then split into two separate lots. 1917 is a customary agricultural operation, and 1915 will be a single-family residence. So they are coming back at this point as part of their approval to get through the admin process to get a single-family residence.
So what I'm looking at looks like the driveway for 1917 begins on lot 1915.
At one point, they originally came in looking to do both together, the agricultural operation and the house. At that time, they ended up not proceeding with that. They just went with the agricultural operation on 1917, but with the understanding that at some point they would be coming back to do the house on 1915.
Are these all family members that live here?
No, 1921 is unrelated to, or whoever owns it now. I believe the original builder, or the gentleman who, or family who built it, I believe just recently sold the house. So I believe 1921 has a new owner. 1915 and 1917, the owner of the agricultural operation, I believe it's a nursery, is the one who would be building the house in 1915.
Yeah.
Oh,
But, you know, once we create this subdivision, or is it, or it's already a subdivision?
It's already
1915 is-
subdivided. It's already subdivided. Right now, it is an existing 1 acre lot, or a little over acre lot. They're just looking to.
When they did that subdivision, did they not have some concern that the folks who have 1917 have a driveway that begins on property of 1915?
I believe there's a driveway agreement in place, and at this time, it will be the same owners.
Yeah, it's just that obviously over time that has a way of changing, so.
Yep, I believe there is a driveway
Yeah.
agreement in place regarding maintenance.
Well, I see absolutely no objection to this. The lot it's already subdivided. I can't imagine that we're gonna have any issues here.
no,
I would
it's
agree.
not even doesn't appear to be a single tree that's likely to come down.
I agree, I don't see any issues.
All right,
Me either.
then why don't we let our minutes reflect that we have no issues with this one?
Okay.
Anything else, Doug?
Yes, we still have two more that'll be coming. April's going to be a busy month for us here in the planning department and with the planning board. So it's 1364 Jackson Road is the next property. It is just a simple subdivision. The school district Penfield School District is interested in purchasing a portion of the property on the northeast corner of Jackson Road and Plank Road. They're looking to subdivide out about 40 acres for the school district.
What number Jackson Road was that?
1364.
Okay. And the school district wants what portion there?
Where they were gonna
Portion
put the
where they're
pig
doing
farm,
the-
right? That's where they were thinking of putting that pig farm a number of years ago, right?
Oh,
I'm not familiar with the pig farm proposal. That probably predates me.
Yeah, that was quite a ways back.
so
I'm
who
still
owns all
having-
that now? Is the other lot and the other little, I don't know what that is, in between the two lots?
So
What is that piece in between the two lots?
The old turkey farm.
Hey,
Yeah, right up there.
Yeah, so there's-
Keep going down. Yeah, right there.
That is just
Turkey farm?
so the southwest corner is what is commonly known as a turkey farm, or the turkey farm property. There is a single-family residence that is not included in it. It is a pre-existing half-acre lot. But the turkey farm property is what they're looking at. It's about just under 48 acres. And so but just under 8 acres will be remaining with Lot 2, and 40 acres would be sold to the school district.
And that
Yeah.
would be lot one.
That would be Lot 1, correct.
That would be lot one. Okay.
And right now, this is just a subdivision, right? They're not proposing any activity going on that, right? This is just, they want to subdivide it to provide lot 1 for the school district to buy, right?
Yeah, they're just looking for subdivision. The school district is a self-permitting agency, and they do not generally come to us for site plan approval.
Oh, okay.
Don't move your map for a minute. So.
Oh, I'm not the only one out there with the magnifying glass.
Yeah, right.
So 1364 includes the turkey farm?
No.
Yes, 1364 is the turkey farm. So if you're looking at on the aerial map now, the southwest corner there, sort of where it says CR20, where the house and the barns are, will be subdivided off onto a lot 2.
Oh, okay.
And the remaining approximately 40 acres will be sold to the school district, or proposed to be sold
So
to
is there
the school
somebody
district.
living at the turkey farm house and buildings?
I believe
Yes.
so.
Yeah, he's still there.
Oh,
So the school just wants to buy 40 acres of that whole big plot.
That is correct.
That's all. That's all this is.
That's, the application before us is just a simple subdivision.
Yeah. So I
this
don't.
is the Webster School District?
Penfield
School District?
Penfield School District.
What are
Penfield.
they gonna do with it?
I believe the proposal in the past was they are looking for a new location for their bus facility. I believe they've been discussing internally and with the school board is that the facility on 5 Mile Line Road is they've sort of outgrown their capacity there. So I believe they'll be looking at this property for a new bus facility.
But Doug, you said something interesting, that once they purchase this, they're self-approval and they don't go through
They
the
go
town
through
at all?
they go through the state education department and the Board of Education
Right, so we have
for
no
seeker
say in it.
seeker approvals. For seeker approvals.
So I don't think there's anything for us to do but say, no, yeah, we don't have any issues.
Doug, did you just say there would be no seeker approval?
No, they act as, I believe the process is that the Board of Education acts as lead agency for seeker approval. I believe they go through the State Board of Education for their approvals.
Talk to us about the drainage in this part of the world, because I can tell you, having some familiarity with the busing, the school busing, and the fueling of the fleet and the washing of the fleet, there will be discharge of oil-based materials. There's no getting around it. So that's been an issue in the current location. And it can become an issue wherever you put it. There will be fuel spills, there will be, those vehicles are washed frequently. There will be salt and whatever is picked up from the road. So
But does the
Sorry for the neighbors right there.
In my discussions with them, although I'll have to clarify this, I can clarify this with them. I believe they will be following the Phase 2 EPA guidelines regarding, stormwater management. The site will be on septic, based on my previous conversation with them, because there has been discussions. There was a subdivision approved just to the south on 1394 and 1440 Jackson Road. That was looking to bring in sanitary sewers sort of for the area and forming a district there. From my understanding of my conversations with the school district is they would be able to proceed regardless of whether they are on septic or sewers. So my guess is at this time that they'll be proposing to do a septic system as part of their proposal for this property.
Yeah.
Or any future use of this property.
Okay. Well, so going back to this subdivision of 1364, no specific plan other than the subdivision?
No, at this time, it's just a simple subdivision.
Then I guess I don't see that we're gonna have much to say about it.
I would agree. I don't think this is one to, no
Yeah,
bother.
same here.
Okay, so, you know, my
What are you
only
gonna
issue.
say? We know what you're gonna do there. We don't want it, so we're saying no subdivision. You know,
That don't work.
I
I mean,
know.
if the board would like to review it, you are more than welcome to review it and take a look at the property. I believe there are wetlands to the northeast, and there's a stream that crosses in the northeast. I don't believe
Yeah.
that they will be proposing to do anything within that area.
Well, I think until they do propose, we're unable to make much of a comment.
Well, even when they do propose, we have
We have
no
no-
authority. We
no
got
review.
nothing.
Well, we have no authority over the school district, but
Right.
whatever's done with the rest of 1364, when a proposal comes our way, we'll take a look at it.
Okay.
No, because it's gonna be school district.
It's gonna, other
No,
than the
no.
little bit of property around that turkey farm building, all the rest would be going to the school district.
Oh,
Right.
am I confused? I thought it was the turkey farm with the
No, it's everything
buildings
else.
that the school district wanted.
No, it is the
748.
remainder.
So can you put that other thing up for the subdivision again?
Yep.
Map,
Yeah,
sorry,
Brad will
thing.
be pulling that up for you guys.
My favorite word when I can't think of something. So Jim, lot 1 is what the school district is looking to get. Lot 2, so there's not, lot 2 is the existing owner. So almost all of it would be going to the school district, what you call
Why?
1364.
I had this whole thing backwards then, I'm sorry. Is that correct, Doug? Lot 1 is what school district wants,
That
Yes.
is correct.
and it'll be about 40 acres.
That is correct.
And that will give them access to both Plank Road and Jackson?
That is correct.
Okay.
And we have no
Okay.
say over anything once it's subdivided and they bought it.
Okay, well, again,
It
Since
is
we
what
have-
it is.
since we have no jurisdiction over the school district, I guess I have no other comment.
Agree. I support that.
Same here.
And
Yeah.
last one?
Last one is the old Quarry property, RIT property. They're looking to come back for preliminary final. I don't believe we've gotten a full submission yet. We're still waiting on some of their files. They're currently in the mail. But
Yeah,
they'll,
some of us are already signed up for that one, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
That one's up.
yes,
that's
I
all-
believe you
We're
guys,
just
No.
waiting for the visit and the weather, unless we take my truck, and I throw everybody in the back.
yeah, unfortunately,
Hang on for dear life, is that it, Jeff? That truck, that was wet back there in the back.
Yeah, and-
We had a pile of snow back there.
It's all gone.
yeah, so you guys did review it as a sketch plan. They came in earlier as a sketch plan, just to go before the planning board, because it'll be both a site plan and conditional use permit approval that they're seeking from the planning board. We did discuss, and I will still be working with their engineer to get a site visit down. Unfortunately, when we were originally discussing it, we were hoping to go before it got really snowy. I'm hopeful that the weather will break for us here soon, and we can
Oh, it's
possibly
supposed
get
to be
down there.
really warm next week.
So I'll see about setting up a site visit for the board members who are reviewing it.
Yeah, they said, I think in the
Yeah, the
40s
50s
to
next week.
50s, yeah.
Okay, so that's already assigned to Noel, Jeff, and Danielle. Daniel. Um, terrible. I have a granddaughter named Danielle. So
I was wondering where you were going with
every
that.
every time I see DANI, it comes out Danielle. Okay, so Noel, Jeff, and Dan assigned to the RIT Lake property there.
Yep.
So somehow or other, you're going to arrange for a site visit for those 3 people, is that right, Doug?
Yep, that's correct.
And some members of the planning board as well?
Yep.
All right. So since they've already been assigned, if you get the preliminary final application in hand, you'll get it out to those 3 people, right?
That is correct. We currently have, they submitted digital plans. We're still awaiting the hard copies to arrive.
Okay.
So when we get the hard copies, I'll get those packaged together, or I'll have Brad get those packaged together for you guys.
Well, that's another good reason not to give 1030 Plank Road to Noel and Daniel. So, okay. So let's see, Bert, you thought you could do at least a quick look at 1030 Plank?
Yep, I'm happy to. If somebody wants to join on with that, fine. If not necessarily, because we're gonna have a whole bunch coming up, sounds like in the next couple of months, but at a minimum, I'll do it. If somebody'd like to join, fine.
I
No,
can join with you at the
Okay.
10:30 plank.
Okay.
We're just talking drive-by, stand, get out, look,
Yeah.
and, okay.
Yeah, Doug, why don't you just email Pat and I then that sketch plan and the aerial? And then we'll offline kind of maybe, Pat, over the next week, week or so, we can get a time, both you and I can just kind of stop by. Unfortunately, Jim and I kind of, ships passing in the night, even though we both got a good look at it and stuff and discussed it on the phone and things, but.
Oh,
Yeah, so-
I'm pretty much, I'm free I can arrange my schedule to anything, I don't have any
Yeah,
commitments.
well, again, I'm open on, I don't work Monday or Fridays, and I got a lot of flexibilities. So I think
Okay.
I'd offer Doug, if you'll email that to Pat and I, then we'll kind of take it offline to get a look, and we'll have a report ready for April 6th. And I'll chair that meeting in Jim's absence.
Okay, we'll get those out to you guys.
And then we'll assign all 3 of those prelim finals to Jim, because he's not gonna be here. Oh, no, did I say that out loud? Oh.
You know,
Is that the bubble over your head?
just I want you guys to realize that when you're meeting on April, whatever it is, April
6th.
6th. When you're meeting on April 6th, I'm gonna.
Are you sure you're gonna be gone since you weren't sure of the date?
I'm sure I'm gonna be gone. I'm gonna be
Okay.
checking out the best restaurants in Naples.
Oh, that's nice.
Wow. Naples, Italy?
Florida.
No,
Florida.
try Florida.
Oh,
Even better reason to give you all those prelim finals.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just be ready, buddy.
are you?
All right. So do we have any other business to discuss?
That's all we have for you guys.
Roseanne, do you have any updates from the?
No. Last meeting was canceled, so,
Okay.
They're canceling the Zoom meetings?
yeah, I don't know what happened, but we just got a notice it was canceled.
So
Next
I
one's
think
March.
we may be nearing the end. Does anyone have anything else they'd like to bring up?
Nope.
Nope.
Motion to adjourn?
So moved. Seconded, tripled.
All in favor? Me.
Aye.
I guess we're done, but enjoy your meeting in April and I'll think of you.
Thanks.
Okay,
We'll think of you too.
we'll think of you. So we'll want a food report then when you get back.
Yeah, right.